Aga Hassan Ali Shah assisted the Mir of Sindh to make peace with Charles Napier of the British Raj, which resulted in firm and intimate relation with the British Crown. Due to the great service given by our 46th Imam for peace in the region, the British Empire bestowed upon him a hereditary title of His Highness, which our beloved Hazar Imam Shah Karim Al Hussaini still holds. King Edward VII, as Prince of Wealth, visited India when he was entertained by Hazrat Imam Hassan Ali Shah. He was the only nobleman in India to be given the honor of the royal visit. During the Imamat of our 47th Imam Aga Ali Shah, the relation with the British Empire and the House of Imam was very cordial. Her Highness Lady Ali Shah Sarkar Mata Salamat, the mother of Hazrat Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, was highly respected by the British Crown. It was in recognition of her noble birth and magnificent services which she rendered during the First World War that she was bestowed with the title of Crown of India. During her visit to Europe in 1932, she had the honor of being received by Their Majesties King George, Queen Mary, and other members of the royal family at Buckingham Palace. Hazrat Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, our 48th Imam, who became the Imam of the Ismailis at a very young age of 8, also received the most esteemed hereditary title of His Highness from the British Crown at this young age. Hazrat Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah was the first Ismaili Imam who visited London in 1898. During this memorable and historical visit, Queen Victoria invited him to Windsor Castle on several occasions. She arranged a grand dinner and honored him to sit to her right, which was considered to be an extremely respectable honor. For irreplaceable service rendered by Hazrat Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah to British Raj in India, the Queen bestowed upon him the title of KCIE, or Knight Commander of Indian Empire. During his first visit to London, the British Prime Minister Lord Salisbury, Secretary of India Lord George Hamilton, arranged various receptions in his honor, and since then the relation between the British Crown and the House of Imamat grew very intimate. After Queen Victoria, Hazrat Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah visited London during the reign of King Edward VII and became a member of exclusive Marlborough Club, where the admission was restricted only to noble people with recommendations from the king. The great city of London, once the capital of the British Empire, with whom our Imams had established cordial relations, was now being visited by our 49th Imam Maulana Shah Karim Al Hussaini Hazar Imam after 6 years.
Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah was a frequent guest at Windsor Castle of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, and it is a happy coincidence of history that the foundation stone of the first Ismaili Jamaat Khana in the Western world, which was to be laid later that week, should be sited opposite the Victoria and Albert Museum in Kensington.
Inside the elegant and decorated marquee, which had risen on the vacant site opposite to the Victoria and Albert Museum, guests, including diplomats, representatives of Greater London Council and Borough of Kensington and Chelsea, and members of the business world, have gathered here for a very special occasion. They have been invited by our beloved Hazar Imam, His Highness the Aga Khan, to the foundation ceremony of the Ismaili Center to be performed by Right Honourable Lord Soames, Lord President of the Council. This historical event was also attended by members of the Nurani family, Her Highness Mata Salamat Habiba, Her Highness Princess Tajuddaulah, His Highness Prince Sadruddin, Her Highness Princess Aliya, Prince Amin Muhammad and Princess Yasmin. Maulana Hazir Imam warmly received Lord Soms at the entrance and led him to the chair on the dais. Maulana Hazir Imam then addressed the gathering.
That the building of this center is symbolic of a growing understanding of Islam. For some centuries past, the Muslim world has lived in shadow as far as the West was concerned. Muslim civilization and society were poorly understood or not understood at all. Apart from a few exceptional and dedicated men, there was no communication and almost no desire to be informed. Now we see that conditions have changed. This building and the prominence of the place it has been given indicate the seriousness and the respect the West is beginning to accord Muslim civilization, of which the Ismaili community, though relatively small, is fully representative. May this understanding, so important for the future of the world, progress and flourish. I sincerely believe that when this center is completed, it will be, both by its presence and the function it fulfills, an important addition to the institutions of London, a source of pride to all who took part in its creation, and a pledge and token of understanding between East and West.
Thanking Lord Soms, he said,
A highly creative internationalist, and in the best and broadest sense of the word, a man of the wider world, that I welcome Lord Soms today and request him to perform this foundation ceremony. Thank you.
Paying tribute to the community's traditions of hard work and self-help, Lord Soms said,
have ordained that there has been a notable increase in recent years in the number of Ismailis who have come to make their homes in Western Europe in general and in the United Kingdom in particular. And wherever they have settled, they have made themselves most welcome. Indeed, in many ways and in many instances, they have set an example. They have traditions which have been handed down over centuries, and to which they have firmly clung in all the many countries and continents in which they have lived their lives, often through many difficulties and vicissitudes. The Ismailis are essentially contributors who seek to enrich the social structure in which they live, and those of whom, there inevitably are some, those of them who fall by the wayside are picked up, helped, and if need be, cherished by their own. The impression I have is that these traditions and disciplines are as strong today as they were through the centuries that they have spanned by Your Highness's 48 predecessors as Imam. And that this is not unconnected with the fact that the wealth is available today for this new building on this prime site in London, as it has been to create schools, hospitals, and other imaginative schemes in those countries, in other continents, with a high Ismaili population. The center of which this is to be the cornerstone will fill a long-felt need by the 25,000 or so Ismaili people in this country and those of their friends and relations who come to visit them from other countries in Europe and elsewhere. For it will provide both a place of prayer and devotion and also a meeting place with many facilities of a pleasurable character. That this new building, when it is completed, will make its due contribution over many years to come.
occasion to present to Lord Solmes a small gift in gratitude for his very generous words and for his having agreed to perform this ceremony today.
So, Your Highness, it looks substantial, it feels substantial. I recognize the colors, and I look forward to opening it very soon.
For use by the institutions of Ismaili community and for a public art exhibition gallery. The building total cost is estimated in excess of £5 million and will be owned by the Aga Khan Foundation.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله نور السماوات والأرض مثل نوره كمشكاة فيها مصباح
المصباح في زجاجة الزجاجة كأنها كوكب دري يوقد من شجرة مباركة زيتونة لا شرقية ولا غربية يكاد زيتها يضيء ولو لم تمسسه نار نور على نور يهدي الله لنوره من يشاء ويضرب الله الأمثال للناس والله بكل شيء عليم صدق الله العظيم.
25 years ago marked the beginning of a new era in the history of our Jamaat. Since 1985, the Ismaili Centre London has helped to shape the identity and outlook of Ismailis both nationally and internationally, giving the Jamaat a permanent home in London. As we look back on 25 years of the Ismaili Centre, we have an opportunity to reflect on what this building has done for the Jamaat in the UK, for the Ismaili community globally, the role it has played in promoting civil society, and what it will, inshallah, do for the future of the Ismaili Jamaat around the world.
The Ismaili community in Britain traces many of its roots to this country's former colonies in Africa and in Asia. Over this past half-century, Ismailis have established themselves as one amongst many immigrant communities. It is not far from this very site in Kensington that a few young Ismaili students and families first gathered to share the experiences of life in post-war London during the Empire's twilight years.
In the early 1950s, the first place of gathering for the Jamaat in London was at 51 Kensington Court. This Jamaat Khana was opened by the late Begum Habibe, the wife of our 48th Imam, on 17th July 1953. In 1957, the Jamaat moved to 35 Palace Gate, which was home to the Jamaat for many years. Aside from being a Jamaat Khana, Palace Gate also provided bed and breakfast accommodation for students arriving from abroad to study in London.
In the late 60s, the Jamaat began to increase with students, visitors, and overseas Ismailis, and the Jamaat Khana facilities began to be stressed. Maulana Hazir Imam felt that we should look for alternate property for Jamaat Khana. In his Farman at Alexandra Palace on 3rd August 1969, where about 2,500 members were present, Maulana Hazir Imam mentioned that he was aware of the need for a bigger Jamaat Khana, and that we were already looking for a suitable alternate property.
As the presence of the Ismailis in Britain changed from a handful of adventurous students to an increasingly large, permanently established community, originating from different parts of the Third World, speaking different languages, and with very different economic and educational backgrounds, the leaders and I were faced with the difficult question of determining the steps that we should take to assist the community as to establish itself well and definitively in the United Kingdom. We concluded that centres of social and religious life were a condition sine qua non to enable the community to practice its faith, maintain its traditions, and protect its identity.
It was in 1978 that when Hazrat Imam first, we had a meeting, the president of the council then and myself, and Hazrat Imam explained to us what the project was going to be, and that he wanted a purpose-built, high-profile Jamaat Khana in London for the Jamaat in United Kingdom.
The history of the site of land for the Ismaili Centre can be traced back to the 1860s. 7 houses dubbed Cromwell Gardens were erected on the site in 1867 by John Spicer. In 1937, the site was purchased by the Shakespeare Memorial National Theatre Committee for the purpose of constructing a national theatre.
I suppose that I am here as the next best thing to Shakespeare.
Although the title deeds were presented in 1938 by Irish playwright George Bernard Shaw, the theatre was never to be built on the site. In time, it was realised that the site was too small for the ambitions of a national theatre, and in 1942, the land was exchanged by the National Theatre Committee in favour of a site on the south bank of the Thames. By the time Maulana Hazrat Imam had secured the land in the late 1970s for the establishment of the first Ismaili centre in the Western world, it had become a derelict site, hosting a car hire depot and a prefab office. Yet, according to journalist Christopher Long, the land between Thurlow Place and Cromwell Road was arguably the most prominent and prestigious plot of development land in West London. On 6 September 1979, Maulana Hazrat Imam and the late Lord Soames, who at the time was the Lord President of the Council and the leader of the House of Lords, laid the foundation for the Ismaili Centre in London.
I sincerely believe that when this centre is completed, it will be, both by its presence and the function it fulfills, an important addition to the institutions of London, a source of pride to all who took part in its creation, and a pledge and token of understanding between East and West.
Speaking at the ceremony, Lord Soames commended the Jamaat in the United Kingdom for being contributing citizens of society.
And wherever they have settled, they have made themselves most welcome. Indeed, in many ways and in many instances, they have set an example. The Ismailis are essentially contributors who seek to enrich the social structure in which they live. The centre of which this is to be the cornerstone will fill a long-felt need by the 25,000 or so Ismaili people in this country, for it will provide both a place of prayer and devotion and also a meeting place with many facilities of a pleasurable character.
plans for the new building were carefully drawn up with Maulana Hazar Imam and his brother Prince Amin closely involved every step of the way.
I think everybody would only ever and could only ever settle for the highest standards. I think also it was realized from His Highness's involvement and Prince Amin's involvement that it had to be something which was going to meet their very, very high standards. Indeed, quite a number of the designs, the features that you see dotted around the building, they would have been created in isolation, and Prince Amin or His Highness would come in especially to review that relationship between the blue and the white lines and give a positive to go ahead and construct and design in that manner.
I must say that it was dearly due to Hazar Imam that this building has turned out to be what it is. His personal involvement was quite extensive. We had 39 meetings over a period of 5 years with Hazar Imam and Prince Amin. He would literally look at the size of the window, the shape of the window, the doorknobs, the calligraphy, the lighting system. He used to go in great detail in every aspect of construction. And Prince Amin was involved in the interior designing.
The high-profile location of the centre presented a unique challenge to the architects, the Kasson-Konda partnership. Lead architect, the late Neville Konda and his team, had to design a building that would meet the community's objectives, as well as blend in harmoniously with the distinguished public and historic buildings in its vicinity.
Another factor in the design is, of course, that here were we, a firm of Western English architects, working directly with His Highness the Aga Khan, trying to evolve an architecture without, as it were, being Walt Disney about it, putting a little dome here or a little something there on an architecture which one didn't deeply understand. And this was only done by working very closely and a long learning process by people who were deeply involved in that kind of culture.
To help ensure this Islamic mood, German Muslim Karl Schlamminger was commissioned for the interior design, and renowned Pakistani artist, the late Guljeed, was asked to create a number of portraits and murals for the building. By 1984, the building was ready to be used. Maulana Hazar Imam sent a message to the UK Jamaat in which he said, "During my Silver Jubilee Darbar in London, I said that the Ismaili Centre is a symbol of the status that I desire for my Jamaat in the United Kingdom. It is you who, inshallah, will translate my aspiration into reality in everything which touches your everyday lives, and by the way in which you think about, use, and work within this new centre."
We moved here on the 10th of April to open the Jamaat Khana. It was very happy and historical occasion because Jamaat appreciated that this is the first time in central London we have a Ismaili Centre on a very prestigious location.
In his speech at the foundation ceremony of the Ismaili Centre Dubai, Maulana Hazar Imam reminds us that the Jamaat Khana is one of many forms of spaces of gathering in the Muslim world.
For many centuries, a prominent feature of the Muslim religious landscape has been the variety of spaces of gathering coexisting harmoniously with the masjid, which in itself has accommodated a range of diverse institutional spaces for educational, social, and reflective purposes. Historically serving communities of different interpretations and spiritual affiliations, these spaces have retained their cultural nomenclatures and characteristics, from ribat and zawiya to Khanaqah and Jamaat Khana. The congregational space incorporated within the Ismaili Center belongs to the historic category of Jamaat Khana, an institutional category that also serves a number of sister Sunni and Shia communities in their respective contexts in many parts of the world. Here, it will be a space reserved for traditions and practices specific to the Shia Ismaili Tariqah of Islam.
On 24th April 1985, the Ismaili Center, London, a Silver Jubilee project, was officially opened by Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher in the presence of Maulana Hazar Imam and members of his family.
Madam Prime Minister, Your Excellencies, Your Worship the Mayor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a very great pleasure for us to welcome you, Madam Prime Minister, and so distinguish the gathering for a ceremony which is the most significant one for the Ismaili community. Significant because this is the first cultural and religious center in the Western world to have been built specifically for the community's requirements. In 1957, when I inherited the responsibilities of the Ismaili Imamate from my grandfather, the late Abi Khan, it seemed inconceivable that we would ever have substantial communities in the West. Our people were too deeply rooted in India and Pakistan, in Syria and Iran, in many African countries, and in Central Asia and the Far East. However, that was before the winds of change had begun to blow across the colonies where many Ismailis lived. Since the late 1950s, there have been enormous changes both in the Commonwealth and in the Third World. During this relatively short time, many developing countries have passed through the entire process of being born as independent nations and of growing to maturity with all that can mean in human terms. Some of these transitions have been slow and peaceful, some brutally fast. There have been wars in the Indian subcontinent and expulsions of citizens from Africa. For many people, it has been a turbulent quarter century. Inevitably, some Ismailis have lived through periods of such political instability that they have been forced to move and have sought new homes in countries secured by the peace, the stability, and the respect for individual freedoms which the older democracies offer. Understandably, those from the Commonwealth have often wished to stay within it. Under this pressure of events, the Ismaili community in the United Kingdom, which until early in the 1970s consisted principally of students, has grown in recent years, as it has also done in Western Europe, Canada, and the United States. Among those who have arrived have been doctors, engineers, accountants, and other professional people, as well as businessmen. They have come to find peace and safety on a permanent basis for themselves and their children, aspiring to add their part to the strength of Britain's economy and of its social and cultural fabric, to work and prosper both for themselves and for this country's future. This, then, is the historical context in which the Imamate and the community have created new institutions in Britain. One of the most significant of these being the centre which you, Madam Prime Minister, are doing us the honour of opening today. It is probably true to say that eventually Ismailis, like other groups which have settled in the United Kingdom permanently, may lose touch with their original languages and adopt many aspects of British life. But they are certain to maintain their faith and their traditions whilst accepting what seems best and most appropriate from Western civilization. This building is more than simply a place of congregation. through the quality of its design and workmanship. It will be a bridge between the culture of the community's roots and that of its future, as well as a symbol of the hopes of people who have lived through change and turbulence and have ultimately found security here in Britain. They are proud that it now joins two other institutions of their community already established in London. These are the Institute of Ismaili Studies, concerned with academic and ecumenical research, which collaborates with the University of London Institute of Education and McGill University in Canada, and the Arkan Foundation, a non-profit philanthropic agency assisting some 500 educational and healthcare units or programs in Asia and Africa. The Foundation is currently privileged to be collaborating with more than 30 other international organizations, both governmental and non-governmental. Among them are the Overseas Development Administration and Oxfam here in Britain, CARE, the Canadian International Development Agency, the Ford Foundation, UNICEF, and the World Health Organization. As a result of these and other social and economic development activities of the Imam, particularly in Commonwealth countries, I have become keenly aware of the effects of the recent world recession. In the industrialized nations, it has forced radical rethinking on a number of economic issues, and here I would like to pay tribute to the pragmatism which you, Madam Prime Minister, have displayed in facing them. Although the economic problems of the Third World are certainly not identical with those of the West, no impartial observer could fail to recognize an increasing willingness among developing countries to adopt a similarly pragmatic approach, especially in the encouragement of individual endeavor. Many Third World countries are now reframing their policies. I could name numerous examples: China, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. As the President of the World Bank, Mr. Clarkson, observed in a speech here in London in February, there is evidence enough that the most rapid economic growth in the developing world has been achieved in countries where governments have recognized that private enterprise has a critical role to play. However, the role of private endeavor in third world societies goes far beyond economic activity alone. It has long extended into healthcare, into education, into the crucial area of rural development, into almost every aspect of nation building. Nor is the newfound recognition of its worth connected only with competing ideologies. I believe that it is a reflection of the urgent need to make the fullest use of all a nation's available resources, of which in the third world, efforts of individuals are a major component. Islam emphasizes the duty of man to be productive within the context of his family and his society, but warns that enterprise without a social conscience is not acceptable. When they can be created, people are far and away the third world's largest resource, and its largest liability when they are unproductive or lazy. Obviously, individuals cannot realize their potential unless governments provide an environment which enables them so to do. It is here in particular, Madam Prime Minister, that I feel the British willingness to articulate and promote fresh ways of thought is of such value. Created, industrialized nations, new or old, can exercise considerable influence in the third world by encouraging governments there to test new ideas. And those ideas are destined to become increasingly powerful as the revolution in communications exposes more and more people, particularly the vast rural majority of the developing countries, to their impact. Speaking as a Muslim, I feel that a pragmatic approach can be particularly helpful at a time like the present, when the Islamic world as a whole is subject to pressures, both internal and external, which have had few precedents in its history. Those internal pressures include conflict between different interpretations of our faith, conducted sometimes openly through war and elsewhere covertly, through the use of finance and propaganda. Meanwhile, extraneous forces such as the famine now blighting much of Muslim sub-Saharan Africa contrast with the extreme wealth which has come to the desert lands of the Gulf and create an increasing polarization within the Islamic world. Against this background, ordinary Muslims strive to express their legitimate desire to identify ways of life and institutions which will reflect their own unique heritage of faith and culture. They strive to find and hold to a path of stability between democracy and totalitarianism, between Islamic belief and secularism, between the pressures of poverty and of wealth. Responding to this search, many countries are testing economic philosophies in pursuit of forms acceptable to the specific ethos of our faith. Similar inquiry is submitting jurists and the laws by which Muslims live to scrutiny in an effort to restore their Islamic authenticity. Western structures of government and systems of national consultation are being analyzed with the objective of finding alternatives that are more sympathetic to the societies, culture and faith of Muslims, but which will nevertheless guarantee peaceful, equitable and stable processes of change. I believe there is a need for the West to show empathy with these aspirations and to recognize that although the example of pragmatism may stimulate thought and activity in the Islamic world, Western methods and criteria of judgment are not necessarily themselves appropriate to the tasks which Muslims face. I am often struck by the imbalance of comprehension between the Christian and the Islamic cultures. Of course, the government and well-informed specialized institutions, universities for example, the perception is accurate. But the general public in the West is too often shown the Ummah, the worldwide community of 800 million Muslims, as a monolithic block of believers whose national political disputes are part of their religion. Such a distorted portrayal of the true background both causes unnecessary misunderstanding of Islamic questions and hinders mature response to them. In reality, certain expressions of political action cannot be considered representative of that faith of peace which so many millions of people practice every day. Nor because their majority is rural and isolated are its feelings reported. The silent majority is indeed silent. It is my deep conviction that a strong consensus of wisdom does exist within the Islamic world, and that the silent majority of Muslims wishes to heal divisions, not exacerbate them. This desire is one which the Ismaili community, being split virtually throughout the Ummah, has good cause both to appreciate and to share. Given a wider understanding of the forces acting upon the Islamic Ummah, I am sure that the industrialized nations can help to add strength to its efforts for peace and the world economy. I believe, Madam Prime Minister, that your presence here today is proof of your own comprehension of the issues involved and of your willingness to assist in their resolution, as well as being an expression of welcome and consideration for the young Ismaili community now established in Britain. We are all greatly honored that you are being with us, Prime Minister. It is a source of pleasure and pride to the Ismaili community, and this centre should be situated in the heart of London, and we now look forward to its becoming a valuable addition to this distinguished nation. Thank you.
And I'm most grateful to His Highness the Aga Khan for the honour he's done me in inviting me to perform the opening ceremony. I'm even more grateful, sir, for the address which you have just given us. As you probably know, sir, in our country, if 3 judges sit together in our courts to reach judgment on anything, one of them gives the lead speech, and the others then can say only, I concur. There's so much in your speech which I could say, I concur, and leave it at that. But I think perhaps it would be as well if I were to add a few words of my own. The building of this splendid new centre, which will provide facilities for religious observance and the social functions within the Ismaili community, must reflect a sense of both stability and of confidence in the future. There's been a small Ismaili community in this country for very many years, but I know that many members came here comparatively recently, as you, sir, have said, having been uprooted from settled and successful lives in East Africa. For them, leaving East Africa must have been a sad, deeply disturbing, and in some cases a terrible experience. But clearly the Ismaili community who made Britain their new home triumphed over these adversities and have found here a new sense of security and of belonging. And this centre is a powerful symbol of that feeling of belonging. And in return, Britain, like so many other parts of the world where there are Ismaili communities, benefits from the contributions that Ismailis make to society. The Ismaili community in London is self-sufficient and independent, energetic, and highly talented. It contributes to society in every sort of way. And at the same time, its powerful sense of community, both spiritual and cultural, provides a firm and unchanging base for living. Many migrants who come to this country to settle in recent years have had to come to terms with a life that is very different from their old one, as you, sir, indicated. In the process of change and adaptation, they have been sustained by a sense of purpose derived from a firm faith and a valued heritage. Britain is now more than ever a society of many cultures. And I think that we are beginning to appreciate the challenges and the opportunities that this diversity offers. There are many practical examples to show how much your community values and how much it gives service to the wider community. Many of the Aga Khan hospital and educational services are open to all, regardless of race or creed. The work of the Aga Khan Foundation in other continents also shows how your community adopts this positive approach. And I'm proud that the British government, with the foundation, are together financing projects of benefit to the people of Pakistan. And I understand and welcome that many of the facilities of this centre will be available for other Londoners to use. London itself is enhanced by the construction of the new centre, which we are all most grateful to His Highness the Aga Khan. It's a splendid contribution to the architecture of London, fitting in easily with the other fine buildings of South Kensington, yet having its own distinctive and beautiful character. It's a monument to the determination of your community to play a full part in the life of our society, while at the same time retaining their own identity and independence. As I believe a great Islamic poet of the 19th century, Muhammad Iqbal, said, for the individual to be bound to society is a blessing. It is in a community that his work is perfected. This new centre is a splendid testament to the words of the poet, to the vitality of the Ismaili community here. And it is in that spirit and with great pleasure that I now formally declare the Ismaili Centre open.